Live on a Tuesday night. It's the angriest man in Orlando. What's going on, everyone? Trying out some new stuff here. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. If you like it, let me know in the chat. Give me a like on the opening. Give me a you hated that opening. What's up, everybody? We'll give it a few minutes for live people to jump in. If you're watching on the playback, hey, just hang tight for a minute. We'll start getting into stuff. This show is going to be all about Disney and their D23 BS that they pulled. So if you want to jump in on it, feel free to stick along. If you don't, I understand totally. Join me Thursday night for 2 Men in a Room. That'll be on the 2 Men in a Room channel. And then join me next Tuesday for the Angriest Man in Orlando. If you want to stick around, we're just going to dump on Disney most of the show. So, yeah, for people watching live, let's see. Have we heard? Did we get the message beep? Beep, 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 beep. We're just waiting for notifications to get sent out that we are live, and then we're going to start the show. And it's going to be a fun one. If you saw this weekend, D23, the Disney experience, I'm going to be going through it, breaking it down. I've been commenting on several channels and sites and stuff, so I'm just going to bring everything and wrap it up in this video, and then we can go from there. So stick along, sit down, grab your favorite drink, and we're going to be on in just a minute, and we're going to go through it all. And I'm going to try to post photos as I'm talking about these exhibits that may or may not be happening. So bear with me if there's a pause in any of this. It's me just trying to get the photo up so that you can see what I'm talking about and where I'm going from there. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to go based on basically what most people are complaining about first, and then we'll break down everything else that's coming. And then if you want to throw up anything else, throw it into the live chat, and we'll go from there. Looks like we're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. So we're not on X for some reason. They don't want to carry me at this point, but so yeah. Thank you everyone for still watching. If you're watching, this is the Disney Paved Paradise and put up a parking lot of a whole bunch of IP stuff. And yeah, it's not fun for anyone right now. If you've been on Twitter or Facebook or any of the YouTube channels, it's a mess. And I'll go over it and explain how they could be done better, basically. But there were a few things that, are good. They just weren't executed well. So we'll go over that in just a second. Making sure everybody jumps in, wants to jump in. Okay. So, everyone, yes, this weekend, D23 was in Anaheim at the Honda Center. And, okay, hold on. We got a comment. I'll address that in just a minute. So, yeah, it was at the Honda Center. It was, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? And, the pixie dust drinkers, slurpers, whatever, they loved it. They were there. They enjoyed it. I heard there were a few, not really boos, but quiet moments where people weren't sure about stuff. So basically made it through okay. The exhibition is held every 2 years. The last one was in 2022. It was a holdover from 2021 because of COVID and everything. So that's why we had one in 24. The next one will be in 26. Not sure if Bob Iger will be joining us for that one, but we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. And Josh D'Amaro currently is the Parks and Entertainment chairman. So he was at the event also. And you'll be hearing his name quite a few, because in my eyes, he's a bootlicker. He's not anyone who actually has an idea of what to do. He just kind of yeses to things that are getting done. So that's my first thought on everything. Okay, people are yep, there we go. Okay. So let's kick into this. First thing up, I've got my notes. Here. I'm going to be going through. So let me see if I could pull up a photo of this first exhibit we're going to talk about. Just give me just a minute. So how was everybody's weekend? Hope you all had a good weekend. And let's go. Oh wait, hold on, not that one. Not that one. Hold on. Does he have a picture of it? All right. So the first one we're going to be talking about is Cars Land. Yeah. And I have so many other pictures of it. Okay. So go here. So Cars Land, which is officially known as Radiator Springs. It's currently at Disney's California Adventure and can be ridden there. Basically, 2 cars. One, I believe, is the main character. Ka-chow. What's his name? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a Cars fan as much as I love Cars. Just simply because it was kind of after my time. It came out early 2000s or so, and was a big movie with kids, but was not a spectacular thing. Okay, I got something here. Can we bring this up? There we go. Okay. Presentation. So this is an artist rendering. This is an artist rendering of the new Cars Land. So if you see in the center, there's actually a track with 2 cars, a red and a blue one. That's going to essentially be they're going through Radiator Springs. Fun stuff. Lightning McQueen. Thank you, chat. Lightning McQueen is who that is. Lightning McQueen. I should have known that. So Lightning McQueen and whoever the other one is, driving through Radiator Springs. You go on a little journey with them. Now, fun. Sounds like a fun place. Sounds like excitement. Why wouldn't you want this here? Well, it's because what it's going to be replacing. So it was announced that it would be put at the back of Frontierland behind Big Thunder Mountain, or at least that's what they were implying it was going to be. It was going to be in Frontierland, was what they said. And they stated, it'll be up and running soon. Or a lot of what they were saying also was it was things were shovel ready, they said. And as someone who has heard that term before and then heard several months later, shovel ready wasn't really shovel ready, I don't for an instance think that this is actually shovel ready. From what I've heard, they're going to be filing permits next week for it. And jumping ahead of me, chat, what they're actually going to be doing is replacing Rivers of America for Frontierland. So what they'll actually do is kind of fill it in, maybe leave some of the spots for like little streams, little ponds that you'll have a walkover going over, that they'll have the cars driving over. And essentially, Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America and the Liberty Bell will be taken out of there in favor of putting Cars Land. So let me bring me up for this one. Okay. First off, let me premise all this by saying there was a reason Walt came to Central Florida. Okay? There was a reason. I've heard it a million times because I've researched him quite a bit. Worked for Walt Disney World as a monorail pilot from summer of 2016 to summer of 2017. Even at that time, I could see Walt Disney World was changing. That's why I ended up leaving. But I've always stayed very close to it. In fact, I'm actually just a stone throw away from the Magic Kingdom. Reedy Creek is right next door to me. So I'm close enough to know what's going on. And let me just say, there was a reason he came here to Central Florida. The reason was land. He wanted enough land to be able to put all his dreams there. Everything. All the magic, all the excitement, all the wonderful stuff that was going to come even after he was gone. He said it was never going to stop. It was always going to be there, and it was always going to be growing. And hold on. Lost my train of thought there. And there was a reason he did all this. And I want to play that reason. Hold on just a second. Because I think we need to hear this from him. From himself, Mr. Walt Disney.
Well, it came about when my daughters were very young, and Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace with, different things, and I take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places, and as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, sit on a bench, eating peanuts, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together. So that's how Disneyland started. Well, it took many years. It was a whole period of maybe 15 years developing. I started with many ideas, threw them away, started all over again. And eventually it evolved into what you see today as Disneyland. But it all started from a daddy with two daughters wondering where he could take them, where he could have a little fun with them too. Well, it came about.
So that was why it was built. Okay. And the reason he picked Central Florida was for the land. Because he wanted to put all this stuff where kids and adults could have fun together. Okay. Very important to know. Why are you now, and this is going to be an ongoing theme throughout the show, why are you now ripping stuff up to replace it with new things? Okay, as you're going to see through the list that I go through, you've got enough stuff here that you could build an entire new park, a new key, a fifth door, whatever you want to call it. And you have the room. You have the room. You have room over on the west side of the property by 429. You have room on the south side of the property by Osceola County. You have this room. There is no reason anything should be being ripped up now and replaced with anything. If you want to upfit something, you want to change something over to make it more modern, by all means, go for it. But to simply start ripping stuff up and replacing it with stuff that you thought about, at least 5 or 10 years ago? It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I'm hearing, well, it's going to cost a lot more to build a whole new park. Well, it's going to cost you a lot more when you don't have people coming to the park you have now. So do you want to pay now or pay later? Okay. There are going to be people that are going to say this, I guarantee, if it isn't already out there right now. Well, you see, with the whole Ron DeSantis destroying everything and taking power away from Disney, Disney can't build another park. They can't get the permits. They can't do what they want to do anymore. Total BS, okay? There is enough room. The permits can be done to build a new park. If you have enough property, IP property, put it in a whole new park for Walt Disney World. That was the problem with Disneyland. Disneyland is very boxed in by all the other hotels, roads in Anaheim, and Walt Disney World does not have that problem at all. So when you have to put out a message stating the next day, mind you, this was reported the next day and then confirmed that cars will be replacing the rivers of America. Here's another thing to think about. What's going to happen when you're walking through the Haunted Mansion and you're trying to feel spooky and scary and things are going off and all of a sudden you hear rum, ka-chow, or Tow Mater saying, well, all right there, Lightning. Isn't that gonna throw you off a little bit? Isn't that just gonna kind of break the illusion, break the magic? The escapism isn't quite there anymore. It was very, very nice to feel like you were walking into a mansion that was in the back of some weird kind of lair almost. You had the river next to you. You didn't really know what's down the river. You had all the trees around you. And it doesn't quite look like you're going to have that anymore. So why is this being done? There's no obvious answer because there's a lot of speculation. Well, they don't like America, so they're taking out American stuff. The Liberty Bell. They don't like the Tom Sawyer story. They feel it's racist. They need to take it out. They don't like water. Has anyone noticed that a lot of fountains are being either demolished and redone as something else or simply turned off and redone as planters? Is it they don't want to pay for the recirculating water? Is it too much to keep the upkeep on? I don't know. These are a lot of things that are being thrown out right now on why Disney doesn't like these type of things and why they want to get rid of it. And there's multiple reasons right there, but it tends to lead me to believe that they don't want to upkeep the area, because I've noticed the areas that they're picking to replace, they've been letting go for a while. So my guess is this has been planned for probably maybe even pre-COVID. 2017, 2018, they started seeing stuff and saying, "Well, we're not going to update that area. We're not going to update that area, and we'll do something with it later." So, could they go as far as taking out Liberty Square and doing it as New Orleans Square to fit it in with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which for the third or fourth day is still not running correctly at Magic Kingdom? I can confirm that they are not running it very well. It has had shutdowns for most of the days, and it's just not running the way they want it to run. Not sure if they tried to open it early. The one at Disneyland is still closed and being refurbed and won't be opening till, I believe, November 21st. So I think they probably rushed this one in, didn't do all the proper testing that they should have done, or are now realizing they miscalculated some stuff in the ride. So, but are they going to try to change that area to be more New Orleans Square? I don't know. Nothing's been said. But again, things are being done behind the scenes that a lot of people are not liking right now. So that's the Cars Land, which again, I'm not a big fan of Cars, but I know it's a nice ride. I know kids love it. I think it's good in certain areas. It's an outdoor ride, so I don't know how well it's going to do in Florida in the summer when it's constantly raining. Are they going to have to shut this thing down? Are they going to have it not running? Hopefully they build canopies over it, maybe even movable ones that they can turn on, turn off, kind of like a moving ceiling kind of deal, so that they could be able to run this ride all year. But it's something that could have actually replaced the it's Autotopia at Disneyland, but I believe it's the Tomorrowland cars. The gas cars that are over in Tomorrowland, the Tomorrowland Raceway. Brain damage today. The Tomorrowland Raceway could have got updated, and you actually could have had little vehicles that resembled Lightning McQueen, Tow Mater, all the other characters from the movie, and then you could actually have kids want to pick which car you could jump into and take it out and go onto the track like that. That would have been a nice update to that. There were rumors they were trying to update it to be electric cars instead of the gas ones, but that still hasn't been done, so we're not sure if there's going to be an update on it. But that would have been a nice update for it. It doesn't fit so much with the future Tomorrowland, but it does fit a little more with Fantasyland, which it kind of butts up against, so it would have worked a little better there. So I'm not against these attractions. I'm just against the way they're executing these attractions, where they're putting them, how they're establishing everything. It's just really, really just cuts to the bone with people who have gone to these parks for years, brought their children there, brought their grandkids there, and may not be able to go and see all that stuff again. You know, their last earnings call, they said that there was low income stress. A lot of low income people can't afford to go to this. So to have your last moments now be the last time you get to ride some of this stuff, it sucks, because I don't think this was the idea of Walt, that he wanted stuff to just simply disappear. I think he wanted stuff to be built and then evolve into other things. and update and bring in new stuff that would correlate with it rather than simply just slapping a character's face on stuff and calling it a new ride or new attraction. So that's Cars replacing Frontierland's Rivers of America, the Liberty Bell, and Tom Sawyer Island at Walt Disney World. Absolutely blasphemous. Can't believe they're doing it. A lot of uproar. So perhaps the uproar does maybe have them change it to the back of Big Thunder Mountain, which aesthetically would work a little better with Radiator Springs, which is supposed to be out in the desert. So it would work a little better, but we'll see what happens with that. Okay, next on the list, Monstropolis from Monsters Inc. going into Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. Okay, so let me see if I can find a picture of it. So I'm working on that. So Monsters Inc. was a movie that came out based on the fear of monsters as a kid. So monsters lived in Monstropolis and would come out and go to find kids to make them scared. And the scares and the screaming would fuel the city. It would be an energy source for them. So that was the point of the movie. Now, the point of the new town and ride that they're bringing is you're going to ride as the monsters, going through, seeing which doors you can find to find the kids to scare. I know. Now, this idea and ride had supposedly been developed for about 10 years or so, or at least they were coming through with, let me see if I can find a picture of it. So they had it in development for about 10 years or so and weren't sure where to put it, weren't sure what to do with it. And let me see if we could get this picture. Okay, it's not a picture, it's an actual article. Okay, great. So Monsters Inc., as you can see, it's going to be a pretty big building, a lot of little city streets, a lot of the stores from the actual Monstropolis will be made. You may see monsters walking around. The only thing I think they had at Walt Disney World based on monsters was the laugh floor, which is in Tomorrowland at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. And a fun time. You get to crack jokes. It was interactive. You got to have some laughs. It was fun. Instead of screams, laughter feeds the energy for their city. So this is going to be an actual ride, a swinging ride that goes through, and you're going to get to see doors and pick doors, and they'll probably open. You'll see kids screaming and stuff like that. And you're riding through to find probably Boo, who's a character in the movie. And sounds like a good attraction. I have no beef with it. I know, again, this was past my time. This is more kids ride. I don't know if they'll meet the height requirement for it since it is a swinging roller coaster. I hope they can. You know, I think a lot of kids who grew up with it will like it. It's the problem where they're putting it again. Okay, so According to one report, it's saying that they're going to be replacing the animation building, which if you go into Hollywood Studios and go towards about 2 o'clock, when you get up to the Chinese theater, you look about 2 o'clock, you'll see the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, and you'll see the animation building and Star Wars Back Bay back there. And that's what they're looking at using the space for. I've also heard a rumor that they would take Aerosmith's Rocking Roller Coaster and possibly build that into Monsters Inc. because Aerosmith just recently said that they were no longer touring. They were going to hang up the guitars, and they actually cut a concert over in Tampa. So I know some people they understand, but they were a little cheesed at that. So there's a possibility that could have been replacement territory. But now we're hearing a new rumor, and if you could see on the screenshot that it does look like the old Streets of America facade where Muppets 3D is, that this could be actually built in that area where Muppets 3D is, where Rizzo's Pizzeria, and that area has seen a little bit of change and not really been built up after the change. That's actually kind of part of the entrance into Star Wars land. And, it took a big hit when Streets of America got pulled out. Lights, Camera, Stunts, Action Show got pulled out. A lot of people just didn't kind of roam into that area as much unless you were doing the Muppets, because there wasn't much of anything else over there. There is, I believe, what's it called? Mamma Mia's Italian restaurant still over there. I think it's still open. And then going up front, you have Star Tours. And then going around the bend from there, you have the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. So it's going to pain me to say this, but they could take out all three. Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, Star Tours, and Muppets 3D, and build Monstropolis right in there. And the reason I think they could is because they are now putting in the Indiana Jones ride from Disneyland over into Tropical Americas at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So if you've got this ride based on Indiana Jones, and the stunt show has been since, I think, 1990 or so. So it's been around a long time, has never really been updated. Still the same stunts, still the same scenes. So it might be time for them to maybe make a change. I'd hate to see it because it's kind of one of the last remnants of this actually being like a studio and being able to see how movies are made. And to take that out means you're just doing basically Disney's animation park. And, it's fun for kids. I don't know if it's much fun as for adults. I think you want to go into something like this and you want to see how movies are made, how stunts are done. What's the thing? How are special effects done? You don't want to just go do a ride, see a character, hear the theme song from the movie, and then go do it again and go do it again and go do it again. So there's no actual confirmation on what they're going to be replacing as far as I could tell. I think a lot of this is just rumor right now. But based on Disney's track record, don't be surprised if one of those three possibilities happens. So Monsters Inc. could be replacing Rock and Roller Coaster, could be replacing the animation building, or could be replacing the Muppets 3D area. Now, you have a problem with Hollywood Studios is you have it backed up against World Drive. You have it also slightly hitting the old Galactic Star Cruiser. And you have a major new parking lot on the back end of that too. So you could possibly take out the Star Cruiser, fill in that land, take half of the parking area, possibly do a parking garage over there. I know it breaks the sight line and everything, but that would give you a lot more room to work with there. Or you could just build a new park with all this stuff. So you have options to get more land. I don't understand why you have to rip something out to put something in when you're supposed to have land in Florida. That was the whole point of coming to Central Florida, was to get land. So Monsters Inc. looks like a fun attraction. Looks like something nice. Yeah, it was in development hell. It's coming back out. They think they're going to actually build this. Find an area that works. Find an area that works. Hollywood Studios does need some improvement. But it's hard to try to replace the stuff there. Tower of Terror, I actually thought should have been replaced with the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and you should have kept Tower of Terror in California. I know I'm going to hear a lot of backlash on that, but it fits the aesthetic and the motif better that the Hollywood Tower Hotel is in Hollywood, California, or very close to. Rock and Roller Coaster, the band a while and then have given it up. So what kind of band do you put there that can connect with everybody? It's a really tough position to look at. I'm not really sure who. Someone who's been around a long time, but even younger crowds would know. I'm not saying younger crowds knew who Aerosmith were, but it's tough to try to find a group that would be able to. You don't want like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys on it, but you don't want like Rolling Stones on it. I mean, I don't think kids would connect with that. It'd be really tough to try to find a band to put in there. Star Tours is going to be Star Tours. I think more than ever now, with the way Disney's runs their Star Wars saga, you need Star Tours to stay Star Tours. So that's tough to try to update or put in something on. We've got a few in the comments. Remember the tram tour? The tram tour was great. I know those have kind of got pushed out by Universal and Disney. I believe the Universal California does still do part of their tram tour, but a lot of people just, I guess, weren't into it as much. I found it was interesting as long as they kept updating stuff year by year. They could put in new sets, new movie props that would keep it exciting, that would keep you wanting to go back and see what else was on the tour. Catastrophe Canyon was fun, and especially on hot days, you would actually hope the water hits you to kind of keep you cool. And, I know why they took it out. They needed the land, but again, it came back to, why didn't you just build another park? Yes, this comment right here. No, not Star Tours. That's the best Star Wars thing Disney has. It really is. Like, Batu is a Star Wars thing, but it's not a Star Wars thing people know. So you walk in and you're expecting to see stuff that you know, and it's not there, and it's kind of like, am I in Star Wars? Am I not in Star Wars? It's really strange. You don't quite know which Star Wars are you in the original trilogy? Are you in the sequels? Are you in the prequels? You don't know which one you're in. There's different things from different ones in there. It's a little confusing to people who don't know Star Wars to walk in there and say, "Oh, okay, this person's with that person, but that person was with this person." It's for people who know it, you can walk in and say, "Yeah, that's, the Millennium Falcon. That's a lightsaber. That's blue milk." To other people, they walk in and are like, "Oh, okay, this looks weird." And, you know, it's not stuff from the movies. And I think it was a really weird idea to try to like build something that you were never actually going to explain to anyone. Really strange. So let's wrap up with Monsters Inc. Again, looks like a fun attraction. Just the way they're doing it, it just is terrible, terrible, terrible way to shoehorn stuff into parks that don't need to be shoehorned into. Let's see what else was on here. So now we're going to jump over to, let me see if I have a photo for this. I might. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Let me do this. We're going to jump over to Animal Kingdom. Yeah, there we go. Okay, bear with me. I'm picking stuff up here. Okay, so there we go. These are the new gates into Tropical Americas, which is basically going to be replacing Dino Land USA. So we're going to have a few things to do there. We're going to have the Indiana Jones ride, which I spoke about earlier, which is basically a copycat of the ride at Disney's California Adventure. Or no, this one is in Disneyland. This one is in Disneyland. Which, when Dinosaur was built, it was built at the same time as the Indiana Jones ride. They are the exact same track. Almost identical vehicles for the ride vehicles and very similar structures. So it's not hard to change Dinosaur the ride to Indiana Jones. So if this takes 6 years like Tron did, this whole company should just be bulldozed to the ground at this point because he can't get anything done. But if you can do this in about 2 years and get it done and have it up and running, okay, you might have something here to work with. But the Indiana Jones ride is coming to Animal Kingdom with Encanto. Encanto is supposed to be a ride here, I believe. And then we have another 3D rendering of Encanto and the Indiana Jones exhibit. If you could see that. And this is all going to be replacing Dino Land USA. And while I'll say this, Dino Land USA does need to be updated, as Primeval World basically got shut down. That's going to be the Indiana Jones. Okay. So Primeval World needed an update. I hated that they had those carnival type games there. This was never supposed to be like a carnival. This was supposed to be so much better. As Walt said, it's supposed to be a place where you could have fun and enjoy yourself and not be like the carnival that comes around. So I hated they had those games there. They're finally taking them out. They're also taking out the Boneyard, which was a place where kids could run around, dig in the sand, find fossils, and you could kind of let them go on their own because it was all closed off. And parents could just sit down for a moment and have some peace and quiet and think about stuff. Think about, what are you going to eat later for dinner? Do you want to go for the afternoon nap and then come back? Should we go hit the pool tonight? Stuff like that. That's what people thought about. So it was a fun little area there for the kids, which is now going to be taken out. And Dinosaur was a fun ride. I rode it multiple times. I can't even tell you how many times. And it was exciting. It takes you through the Cretaceous period. There's a meteor coming. You have to kind of evade stuff. Goes kind of fast. Not super fast, but kind of fast. And it was just a fun time. Now, the movie, I believe, ends with the meteor striking the Earth, so you can't do a sequel to it, but you certainly could have done a prequel to it. It included more dinosaurs from a different time period, and then added those dinosaurs to the ride to update the ride. Never thought about it, apparently, at Disney. So, I mean, what kid doesn't love dinosaurs? So this was something that probably could have been executed better, updated with new dinosaurs or so. And you have a prime example of it with Jurassic Park at Universal's Islands of Adventure. It went from Jurassic Park to updating to Jurassic World, including new effects, including new dinosaurs, and people still love that ride. So why couldn't you have done that here? Now, that whole Dino Land USA area was originally supposed to be for mythical beasts, was what was the original idea that was supposed to be an animal kingdom. So you would have saw dragons, griffins, and other imaginary exotic animals that you could have met, and they would have done some rides with that and everything, was what I remember hearing about in the mid-90s when they were going to open this, that they never built. And so you certainly could have went down that road with all the new technology and done a whole land based off of that. I don't know. I'm starting to see a little bit of cookie cutter rides happening. And I'm going to tell you a couple more as we go through the list. But they're starting to just basically take rides from one park, maybe put a new overlay on them, maybe not in the case of Indiana Jones, and they're just going to cram them into another park. Let me speak on that for a minute. That's BS, okay? So here's why. The point of having multiple parks around the world is you can have multiple experiences and multiple cultures put their input in from those regions. You can have many different rides around the world. You don't ever have to simply copy and paste into another park. It also gives the public an enjoyment of going from park to park to park, checking off your rides that you've ridden, checking off the scenes that you've seen in those rides and attractions, and being able to have a fun time and almost like a scavenger hunt, like, to go see all that stuff. And something that was touted when Disney Vacation Club started, and I actually went for a presentation with them, was that being in DVC, you were then able to see other resorts throughout the world and do other experiences throughout the world. You want to go on safari in Africa. You want to go on a tiger trek in Southeast Asia. You want to go ski the Alps in Switzerland and Europe. You want to go to South America and see the ancient ruins. You could do that with DVC. Okay, so why don't we do that with the Disney parks? Why don't we have a scavenger hunt type environment where you go see different rides in different areas? Why are we building the same freaking rides in 2 or 3 different parks? What's the point? What's the point of it? No imagination. No creativity. You've run out of stuff to build on. That's my guess on that one. But hey, let's just tear down what doesn't work and just put something else that probably isn't going to work on there too. Why not? Makes it easier than actually trying to figure out how to update something. So Encanto and Indiana Jones now coming to tropical Americas at Animal Kingdom. It will eventually be an animal park without animals. That's what it looks like. As Ian said in Jurassic Park, so you have a dinosaur park here without dinosaurs. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. So we are getting long into the show. So let's start going through. So the next one we'll talk about is Villains Land. Now, Villains Land is slated to be back behind Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom. And here, okay, everybody ready for this one? I have a sad feeling they might actually want to take out the Walt Disney World Railroad. Let me say that right. To make this happen. And the reason I say that is if you look at the artwork for it, which I'll bring it up right now, along with artwork for the other stuff, right there. As you can see in the right bottom picture, that is the new Villains Land. They are trying to have, I believe, at least 1 or 2 restaurants and 2 major rides there, which means you're going to need an awful lot of space for that. So it was theorized in another person's video, I believe of Poseidon Entertainment, that you had the land back there that you could take and make actually 2 new lands with. You put either a bridge over the railroad, or you do the railroad underneath, or go walkway through, or something themed. And you could put 2 new lands back there. One could be another Princess Land and then a Villains Land. People have wanted a Villains Land. Universal has the upper hand right now with their Dark Universe Land that's coming to Epic. It's going to have 2 rides, Curse of the Werewolf, and then I believe the Dracula's Daughter ride, which I was a little hesitant about, but it actually looks really, really good. So I'm open to the story of Dracula's daughter taking revenge on stuff. I'm actually kind of excited about that. But let's get back to Disney. So what people would be expecting is a very dark area. So you need it away from everything else. It's possible it could make you feel like you're outside of Magic Kingdom, where you're kind of, either go through a tunnel underneath the railroad and underneath roads back there and be in a whole different land. Or they could just fudge it up and just throw a ride in a restaurant together and just really make it really small. I'm not sure. There isn't many details about this. There's no ride names. There's no restaurant names on this land yet. It's just known as Villains Land. So not really sure what's going to happen with that. Here's a valid point right here. If they take out the railroad, that will be the end of them. It really will, because Walt's one of his loves, was railroads. He had a miniature version of a railroad in his backyard. It's really a staple for him, as well as Main Street USA. Like, that's Walt in a nutshell. That was the real version of him. So if you take that out, I think you really just might as well strip his name off the whole thing, because it really won't be his park anymore. And the official name is Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, Disney's Epcot. His name was there for a reason. And if you start taking away parts of him from it, you just take the name off it. Just call it Magic Kingdom. Just call it Epcot. Don't even bother with that. So we may hear more on what Villains Land will be taking over, but as of right now, it's just possibilities on stuff on this. Not really sure what it will be. It may not be scary at all. It might be a kid-friendly version that, has who knows what walking around. And it may not you might have plenty of sunlight coming through everything where you doesn't really look dark, scary, isn't trying to freak anybody out. Who knows? If I do hear anything else on it, we'll go over it again in another show. Also at Magic Kingdom, the Pirates of the Caribbean Tavern is being finished up. And it'll actually be right next to where the gift shop is when you're exiting out Pirates of the Caribbean. Unless they changed it. They may have changed it over to... I'm now seeing, okay. They might have changed it over to the other side also. I'm going to have to confirm that. But what it's going to be is basically like the same tavern that's in Adventureland. And it's basically a place to just get drinks and hang out for a little bit. Kind of like a lounge, but I think it'll be smaller than the lounges. And I think it's just a reason to say, hey, let's get the parents to have a drink and forget that they're really here, and then they can spend more money. Magic Kingdom for a long time was a dry town. There was no alcohol consumption unless you had a water bottle full of vodka. But that was the way Walt wanted it. He didn't want drunk parents all over the place. He didn't want fist fights happening. He didn't want people screaming. He didn't want people getting loud. He didn't want people cutting lines. It's amazing how that's been happening the last few years there. But yeah, they're opening another tavern there. I think pretty much every park now you can get some type of alcohol at. Hotels you can get some type of alcohol at. So it's flowing there if you want to go into Magic Kingdom now. You can get a drink, enjoy yourself. The Skipper's Canteen is the one in Adventureland. So feel free to enjoy it responsibly. Okay? Responsibly. There are kids around here. Damn it. Okay. Heading back to Animal Kingdom. I know this is not really the most popular one, but it's tough to be a bug. And it really was tough to be a bug. If you've gone into the Tree of Life to watch this show, it's a 3D show based on A Bug's Life. The characters of Flip and Hopper do a little show that explain what it's like to be a bug. You wear your 3D glasses, you see how humans don't like bugs and what bugs can bring to the environment to make it better. It actually kind of changed my attitude on bugs. I'm not so much we need to kill all the bugs. Certainly bugs need to be like put in their own environment, but I don't think we need to kill them all. And that show really actually changed my attitude on that. I thought, hey, they actually do have some very good properties. They've been here a lot longer than humans have. So they're going to be here probably a lot longer after we're gone. So, but that's being taken out. And I understand. I'm not negative on everything here. That people may not watch A Bug's Life as much anymore, may not, know about the characters and may totally skip it altogether. But it's a really good show to go see. If you have time, go see it now. And the great thing is, as you're walking in the line to get up to the queue area, you get to see all the animals of the Tree of Life. And I hope they keep that area. I hope they keep the walking path the same. I have so many pictures of trying to get each individual animal in the Tree of Life that I can't even show them to you right now. But I have so many pictures up there of each one, how it looks, where it is on the tree. I hope they keep that there. They're going to do a Zootopia show. Okay? I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be some type of dance show or something of that nature. I'm trying to see if I have a photo of it. Let me try. Let me see if we have anything. Okay, I got something. We got photos here. We're grabbing this from Mr. Scott Gustin. New Zootopia show at Animal Kingdom. Show is called. What is it called? Let's see. Can I see it a little better? It's coming in. Better Zoogetter. Okay. At Discovery Island at Animal Kingdom. There it is. The new show. Probably going to be a lot of dance numbers, a lot of dance show type of environment. Perhaps even take out some of the space of the seating so the kids can get out and dance on the floor and stuff. They'll probably have a lot of the different Zootopia animals on the side coming out to say hi to everyone. I hope it's not just screen. I hope there's some physical elements to this show. But I haven't heard too much on it other than just seeing that picture. We'll see how they do it. It fits. This is an animal park. They're animals, so kind of works. The Zootopia area I've heard at the parks in Asia is really good. So hopefully they could pull this one off. I don't know. We'll have to see as we get more pictures. Ideas of what it's supposed to be from there. And we'll go from there on that. I mean, that one is understandable. It's understandable. We do have some people who love Tough to Be a Bug. Posting up. Love Tough to Be a Bug. Thank you, Mary Jade, for that. Okay, let's see. We're going to move to Disney's California Adventure now. So they mentioned a Avengers ride, an Avengers campus. The villain is going to be King Thanos. And it's going to have a lot of characters from multiple universes. And that's pretty much all they have on that. Interested to see how it's filmed and how they're going to do it. Or are they going to have you just in a building with a screen, or are they going to actually have you moving out and going on it? I don't know yet. We'll have to see on that. Iron Man's Stark Flight Lab at DCA. Okay. This ride is another cookie cutter ride. Okay. If you went to Epcot about 9 years ago, up until about, I believe, 2018 or 2019 or so, when they were closing down Innoventions to put up the wonderful new additions they have there now that look like an Apple store, they had a simulator ride, which was basically an arm that would take you up, spin you around. I don't know how good this demonstration is, and it was called Summerville Thrills. And it was a ride where you built your own roller coaster. They gave you the track, you build it, you could do inversions, you could do twists, turns, all kinds of stuff. Then they would load it into the system and you could get on this arm and it would take you for the ride on the roller coaster. So you could see the simulation and feel if it was going to be really bad or really good, or you're going to puke your guts out, which saw that a few times there. It's basically the same thing as that. They're going to put you on an arm where you feel like you're Iron Man flying through the air, which is fine and dandy, but haven't we come up with any new technology that could do this a lot better than simply just taking that from Epcot and putting it out in California and saying it's a whole new ride? It's really not a whole new ride. They really should have kept Innoventions and updated it like they were supposed to be doing. Epcot was supposed to be the future, being updated constantly. What happened with that idea? Holy vey. Okay. So they're also going to have Avatar Land coming. Not sure where they're going to put it. So I'm sorry, friends in California. You may be getting one of your lands ripped out and Avatar Land putting in for that. We feel your pain here in Florida, and we mourn with you. There's also going to be a Coco attraction out there. Again, not sure where that's going. Again, may have to rip something out. And I understand California and Disneyland is a much smaller footprint out there, and some things may have to be changed around. The problem with this is Disney's California Adventure was built to show people what California was all about. All the excitement of Hollywood, the outdoors type with Bear Creek, I believe it was called out there. Radiator Springs, which showed you like the deserts of California, kind of. They even built a San Francisco type area that later got changed into San Francisco, which is Tokyo, San Francisco combined, which is from the movie Big Hero 6. So it was slowly starting to morph into something else that wasn't quite California. And these are going to probably be the finishing touches on that. So it's not going to really, I mean, for some people, it may feel like a California adventure. For others, it may feel like an animation park, which is what it seems to be going to. And, oh, brace yourself for this one. This is the nail in the coffin. For me, at least. This is the nail in the coffin. There's going to be a Walt Disney animatronic that I believe will be placed where Abraham Lincoln is in the Great Moments with Lincoln exhibit. I believe they're going to replace Lincoln. I've heard they're not. They're going to have a record player type stage where they will just alternate Lincoln and Walt. Why do you feel you need to do this? There is no family blessing from the family on this. I have no idea what Walt is going to say. I was at a loss for words and simply screamed, "No!" when I heard this wonderful news. We have so much footage of Walt Disney that they used to play it in Hollywood studios all the time. At the end of the animation building, when you would go through and see the life of Walt. And then they stopped playing it. So why don't you bring that back? Bring back Walt in his own words. Why not? So they're going to put a Walt Disney animatronic in Disneyland. No idea what he's going to say. No idea where he's going to be. I'm not sure if they'll have him in his office or they'll have him at a scene in the park. If it's anything like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Disney at Epcot, which is the Walt Disney statue of him sitting where some people think he's sitting on a toilet, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And if they screw it up with the voice, like they screwed up Abraham Lincoln's voice at the Hall of Presidents, I'm sorry, that voice does not sound like a gruff, grizzled lawyer who taught himself. Sounds like a polished, pompous Boston lawyer. And yeah, I said Boston. Boston lawyer, not a Lincoln lawyer. Fix it. But if they screw up Walt's voice, because they have Walt's voice, that may be the end of it all. That may be the end of it all. One man's dream. That was the attraction that was at Hollywood Studios. Thank you, Mary Jade, for that one. It was one man's dream, which explained from his humble upbringings in Marceline, Missouri, all the way to Disneyland. Why can't you just do that? Put the photos back, bring his old office back, put it up as an exhibit. That's what you put up. His actual physical stuff. Not an animatronic. We don't need it. We don't need it. What else do we go over? Okay, so international parks had a few things going to be added. This isn't the full list, but it's a few things. So we'll go over that. Spider-Man will be getting a ride in China at the Shanghai Disney. There is a photo. I don't think anybody has it. So I'll just describe it. It looks like it could be something fun, but if you look at it in a certain angle, it could look like the Tower of Terror just done with a Spider-Man overlay on it. So I'm not sure on this one. I know that Shanghai is a newer park, so they've been getting a lot of newer stuff and better stuff in some case. Tokyo has been getting a lot of great stuff because they build their own stuff, basically. They're owned by the Oriental Trading Company, so they run a little bit differently. They get sometimes different stuff. They have the original Splash Mountain still running. So if you want to go do Splash Mountain, you're going to have to go to Tokyo. But they have it still running. They're not changing theirs over. So if you want to go ride Splash Mountain, book yourself a Tokyo trip. Use a Google translator to translate Japanese, and a lot of people around the resort will talk English, so you'll be able to interact with people. And they always have a McDonald's there. You can get a McDonald's. You'll find. So they do have Splash Mountain there. They get a lot of nicer stuff there. Go on YouTube, watch videos from their resorts. And so that's why I say I'm not sure. The photo is a little deceptive, but it could turn into just basically Tower of Terror with Spider-Man, where you're just going up and down, following Spider-Man, fighting villains, and it's just the same ride done over again. And then we get the Lion King land at Disneyland Paris. And from the photo of this, it certainly looks like they're using the live action Lion King versus the animated Lion King. So it was said by bootlicker Josh Damaro that no, we were not using the live action one. We simply had the live action one looking there for for just the concept art. So I have a picture. I have a picture. You decide what you think you see there. Okay. Okay, so that is a photo of the Lion King land and attraction at Disneyland Paris. Looks like the live action Lion King there. So, not really sure. Don't really trust tomorrow. Could be live action Lion King. And something also looks very, very familiar. Is that Splash Mountain? It is that Splash Mountain. Because it kind of looks like Splash Mountain to me. Log flume ride, going all the way to the top of a mountain, cliff hanging up over on high. Kind of looks like Splash Mountain. So Paris may be getting their own Lion King Splash Mountain there. Again, cookie cutter attraction. They're just taking one land, one attraction, putting it in a whole new park and calling it new. When in all honesty, it's not really new. It's the same old, same old. Now, they have a new movie coming out, Mufasa, I believe it's called. And we got a great comment on that one. I thought Mufasa and Scar as kids looks good. Okay, it looks good. The story I'm not too thrilled about. They're basically going to retcon it and say that, and this is in a trailer. You could go see the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything on this one. Mufasa was adopted and Scar is the heir apparent. So it's kind of retconning it. They're kind of only adopted brothers. It's like, why do you need to change that? Why do you need to get that like that? Oh, yeah, because it's the circle of woke. I think it's a circle of idiots. But it's trying to create something there that isn't really there. I don't see why Mufasa and Scar can't be brothers, just natural brothers. Not even sure what all those white lions trying to attack them really meant. Again, probably the circle of woke on that one too. But yeah, that's in the new trailer for Mufasa. I think it's gonna bomb terribly. Like several other movies that have bombed terribly this year. And so then they're going to have to scramble and possibly do Lion King Splash Mountain at Paris as the animated version of it. So we'll just have to see. That movie comes out, I believe, around December or so. And is that the whole list? Okay, that's the list of, we'll get into that other movie in a second. That's the list of new attractions that came out at D23. Here's what I'll say. Bob Iger's contract is supposed to be up in 2026. I don't know if they'll... Actually, let me say it like this. I don't know if he'll renew it. I have a feeling they will have to pull his dead body off that seat in those 2 showers that he has. And I don't believe that the board will say, no, we think we should go in a different direction. No, I'm pretty sure the board's going to say, we would love for you to stay on for a couple more years. So he may or may not be at the next D23. So some people are stating that perhaps these were just put out there, since a lot of these attractions are just redos or even rides that they had developed 10 years ago. that this was the grand hurrah for Bob, for him to get out there, do all these announcements, feel all the excitement. They did a whole Fortnite thing for the kids with all the characters coming into Fortnite. And he just felt all the love and the goodness of D23 for his last D23. I personally don't think it is. I think he'll at least hold out for one more. But if it's where it could be his last run, a lot of these I don't believe are shovel ready. They're being stated that they'll be completed in 27, 28, 29, 30 even on some of these projects. At that point, Epic Universe has already been open 5 years in 2030. They'll already be trying to expand, possibly opening even another park somewhere. So these announcements should have been done in 2022. They should have been done in 2022, started building and hopefully ending in 25 to say, hey, we've got these great new excitement experiences and attractions to come see. Don't bother going Epic down the road. It's not that good. It's new. It's gonna break down. You don't want to go there. Come to Disney World, see this new stuff. But no, they're behind the 8 ball right now. They're trying to scramble to find something that will get people excited. And it doesn't seem to be a lot of shareholder excitement. I looked at their stock today. It's at about $85. And I noticed something too. If you invested 5 years ago in 2019, August of 2019, you were actually down 36% from what you bought then. So if you were playing the long game and said, listen, I've got this extra money. I want to put it in a stock. I love Disney. It's exciting. They just had Endgame, #1 movie, billion-dollar movie. I want to put my money in there. I want to play the long game. We're going to go at least 5 years and see what happens. You've actually lost 36% of your money as of today. That's fucking amazing. That is unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. This is a major company. It's been around for 100 years. 100 years. And you lost money on it. Think about that. That's crazy. I don't even know if most of these attractions will be finished. The park attendance is down. I've seen videos from inside the park. I've looked at numbers on attendance. It is down. Do not believe anybody else. It is down. So if you don't have the park attendants holding everything afloat like it looks like it is, you've got a future payment coming up to finish the purchase of Hulu, which is now said to be in the billions, perhaps. It doesn't look good for revenue and capital to build all this stuff. So you may see a lot of rework. You may see a lot of stuff moved around. You may see some of the stuff not come to fruition. So this whole rant may have been for nothing, but everybody else is doing it, so why not? No, I wanted to give you my opinion on all of this. I've been through so much with Disney. It's been such a big part of my life. It changed my life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, honestly. So whenever stuff like this does come down the pipeline, whether it's actually going to happen or not, I love to throw my opinion out on it. Like I said, some of these attractions are actually pretty good. You just take them, you build an animation park, and you put the IPs in there, and you say, this is where you can go and hear, the Indiana Jones theme over and over. You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story. Try Anything from Zootopia. You get to hear this music. Remember Me from Coco. You get to hear it over and over and over again. At this park we have over here. Build a monorail line to it. That would have been I would have loved it if we had gone into D23 and they said, listen, we are building a whole new park. Here's what we're going to put into it. And we're going to have the greatest transportation system going to it. We're building a monorail line to it. I would have been like, holy crap. Someone fell off the bed. Someone hit their head, falling off the bed. Someone actually has a great idea here. This is going to change everything. But no, they didn't. They said, let's just rip up all the classic stuff that's there because we don't know what else to do with it. And let's just replace it with stuff we know. Sequels, prequels, movies, stuff like that. Who cares? They're idiots. They come in, they drink, and they give us our money anyway. That's what they said to all this. How do I know? Because the Snow White movie is still coming aboard. The Snow White movie that got pushed from this year into next is still coming out. And there was a trailer for it. And I'm not even going to bother polluting your eyes with the visions that trailer had. We have a question here. Hold on. Is the Skyway still running? The Skyway in Disneyland is not running. The Tomorrowland Transit Authority, which you might think of as the Skyway in Magic Kingdom, is still running. Not sure how long because it does tend to break down quite a bit, which is another thing. Maintenance has not been the greatest at these parks. And if they simply would just invest more into maintenance and keep all the parks running up to par, that's half the battle right there. That would keep people wanting to come back. When you come in and you can't ride Rise of the Resistance because that's down. You can't ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure because that's down. And you couldn't ride, Dinosaur because that was down. You missed out on half your rides you wanted to do. Why are you going to even bother coming back here? So, yeah, the Snow White movie is still on. The dwarves are CGI. And look, I can't even tell you what. The goofiest Keebler elf looking mother effers ever. Trying not to swear on these things. They look ridiculous. You now have a pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli actresses in this movie who, through some posts, look like they can't stand being next to each other now. Now, when they were filming this 2 years ago, there was no conflict, so it's two actresses filming a movie. But now, thanks to the wokeism or ideologue or whatever, they're zealots, I don't know. Rather than just be actresses and say, listen, I'm in this movie. I'm with this actress. We did this movie. It was great. Instead of being like, well, make sure I say pro-Israel or make sure I say pro-Palestine stuff when I'm mentioning the movie because I got to throw that out. Like, just put your personal stuff in your personal posts. Put your movie stuff in your movie posts. It's that simple. There's a lot of actors I can't stand that I was still watching a movie. Ben Stiller comes to mind. Cannot stand him, but he's done a few good movies. Billy Crystal, not the biggest fan on, but he's done some good movies. Who else can I think of right off the top of my head? There's a few actors that, Mark Hamill, cannot stand him as a person, but him in the original Luke Skywalker trilogy was very good. Him as the Joker on Batman animated series, very good. But I can't stand him as a person. So I can separate the actor from the role. But when they start trying to smash everything together, actress and role, it's a mess. So the movie does not look great. It's been postponed so long. And this is according to Drunk 3PO that I was watching earlier. the budget may be close to 400 million, which means the movie has to make close to $1 billion to break even. Yeah, break even, not even make money on this movie. To just simply break even, you have to hit about $1 billion. And I don't know if a Snow White movie can hit $1 billion. I don't think this one can. No. So, really thought Disney was starting to learn some lessons and figure out what people were really liking. I'm hearing Marvel's changing, so I have hope. But I'm not sure they're close enough to where they should be. Again, do some good attractions, just horrible execution. Got to fix that. Got to fix that. All right, we're running on an hour and a half for this one. So I'm going to start wrapping it up. We got Mary Jade Skywalker here saying, I'm going to see that one, the Mufasa movie. Let me know how it is, and then I'll know if I'm going to go see it. Because I didn't see the other live action one. I don't think these live action ones have done so well. Other than the live action Cinderella one, that was really good. That was done about 2016. That was pretty good. It was done pretty well. They didn't really change too much. They just sort of presented it in live action. Don't really think maybe the Jungle Book was kind of close, but everything else kind of missed. So let me know how Mufasa comes out, and we'll talk about that one. We'll see if we go from there. All right, I think that wraps up comments. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you so much. If you like my content, feel free to like, share, and then subscribe and follow so you know when I'm on next time. Be on next Tuesday at 8 o'clock with hopefully something different than Disney. We'll go over some different other topics, and then you can add in any topic you want to talk about that makes you mad. And then Thursday, I do a show with my co-host, 2 Men in a Room. Go check that out. So we're wrapping this up. I'm losing my voice over here, screaming. I am the angriest man in Orlando. And as always, friends, stay angry. Good night, everyone.